Hi everyone. In the previous video sessions, we have seen the basics of the data analysis as a part of the Microsoft Data Analytics session. And now in this video, we will see about the roles in the data. Means previously we saw means what is data analyst, what is data analysis, basically a basic of the data analysis process. Now what we are going to see, what is the roles in the data, means whatever the data it is there, means what kind of roles which are there, and how these roles are interrelated to each other. So that we are going to see now. First of all, let's try to understand why these different roles are needed, because there are different sources of the data. There are huge projects, organizations, or the businesses which generates data at multiple places, and they need different sources of the data. Every organization has a different process for different like whatever the operations they are performing. So for that, they are having this all these different processes, and that's why we need different roles in the data to perform different kind of activities or tasks. And that's what we wanted to learn in this. That's why means we will see what are the different kind of roles which are available in the data. Let's try to see what are the role types. So the first one is a business analyst. So basically, we will see this all these roles in detail in the coming slides. But a business analyst is more related to the business, who can do most of the functional or business side work. Then next one is a data analyst. Now, when we say data analyst, it is kind of a reporting and visualization kind of role that we will see. Then a data engineer. Basically, data engineer is again somewhat related to data, which will going to perform some more details work around the data. Then we do have a data scientist that we will see, a data administrator. So these are the roles, different roles which are available, like business analyst, data engineer, data scientist, and database administrator. So we are more focused on the data analyst part here, and but we will try to understand means what kind of activities all these roles or all these persons can do. So Sumit, you are saying something?
You lost the voice. Again, I got it. No problem now.
Okay. So you can hear me correctly, right?
Yeah, now I'm not able to hear you.
Okay. So now let's try to understand what is a business analyst. Now, when it comes to business analyst, it all depends upon what to do with the data. So whatever the data is getting generated or used within an organization, they are going to decide what to do with this data. And they are more closer to business, so they don't have that much technical knowledge, but they know more related to the business. So whatever the processes related to the business, they are very much familiar, and they are going to use this data, and they will decide what to do with this data. They are basically specialists in interpreting the data that comes from the visualization. So visualizations are created by a data analyst, we can say, or a data or a developer, and these business analyst people will use this visualization. That means the dashboards or reports which are there, and from that dashboards or the reports, these people will interpret the data. Basically, all people who are the managers or the senior leaders we can say who knows business well, they can use these visualizations and take decisions as well. So that kind of things which can be done by the business analyst. Now we can say data analyst and a business analyst person can be same, because data analyst can learn the business terms or business or whatever the operations and many things related to the business things. So that both of them can be the same person. Business analyst can learn technical things as well, means if he or she is interested. So that thing can be possible. Same person can be both a business analyst and a data analyst. Now come to the second role, which is a data analyst. So now this data analyst is an important role. Now basically it all enables a business to maximize the value of their data assets through visualizations and reporting tools. Now, when it comes to visualizations and reporting tools, it's not just only Power BI. There are other visualizations tools as well, like Tableau is there, ClickView is there. Then in SAP as well, there is SAP Analytics Cloud or a Business Objects reporting tool as well. So there are different tools, but data analysts can learn any of this tool, and then they can use this data which is getting generated in the business and create different reports or visualizations. So that is the main primary function or primary thing data analysts do. They are responsible for profiling, cleaning, transforming data as well. What are the data which is coming? Kind of a data quality operations, cleaning, that kind of things can be done by a data analyst. Designing, building scalable and effective data models. Enabling and implementing the advanced analytics capabilities into reports for analysis. So the role of this data analyst is to make whatever the advanced capabilities of Power BI or any other tool, just try to understand that capabilities and try to implement that in this uh, business or in this organization and prepare reports and dashboards. That's what the main purpose of this data analyst. They can interact with the relevant stakeholders to identify appropriate and necessary data and reporting. So this is something which is they can work with the business analyst, work with the requirements, try to understand the requirement. Once they understand the requirement, they can build some of the uh, like the models, and then cleaning and transforming of the data they can do, and then prepare reports and dashboards. So this is something which is they can do. Other things are they are responsible for the management of Power BI assets. So now whatever the reports, dashboards, data sets, workspace, there are so many things which are available when we do data analyst role. So that all things management is also needed, means which all the reports and dashboards to keep, how to monitor their performance. That all things can be done by a data analyst only. So this is something which is can be performed by the data analyst. They can work with the data engineers to determine and locate appropriate data sources that meet stakeholder requirements. So data engineers also another role which is available. So they can work with the data engineers as well. And again, data engineer and DBA, database administrators also, with them also this data analyst can work. And this is basically related to the access control, means for which report, which database access needed, or which access is not needed. So different business users need different access levels. So that kind of things can be possible with this data analyst. This is again working with the data engineer to identify new processes and improve existing process for collecting data for analysis. So interchangeable roles, data analyst as we can say the major, where we can he or she can work with the business analyst, data engineer, and DBA as well. Now the third one is the data engineer. So basically data engineers provision and set up the data platform technologies that are on premises and the cloud. Now this is one thing which is related to the setup of the environment, we can say, and they can just set up the platform technologies, like whatever that needed for any of the this like visualizations or the reporting tools needed, that can be done by these data engineers. They can manage and secure the flow of structured and unstructured data from the multiple sources. So as we know, if you take any business, the data may not come in a proper format. So it may be structured, unstructured. So managing that is important. So data engineer plays that role. Ensure that data services securely and seamlessly integrate across data services. There is a use of on-premises and cloud data services and tool to consume the data. and deliver and transform data from multiple sources. So this is important to understand. That means yeah, there are different terms like on premises, then platform as a service or cloud like platforms. So that kind of all environments, managing that is important, and this data engineers work for that. They can collaborate with the business stakeholders to identify and meet data requirements as well. So this is again as per their responsibility, they can work with the business stakeholders. So this is important to understand. Data engineer can work with the business stakeholders as well. They can collaborate with the DBS for some database administrative work. They can bring data together, like data wrangling, which helps data scientists to just focus on their work. So this is a more broader term, we can say data wrangling, where uh, data like grouping or data bringing data together is important, and so uh, making a job easy for data scientists, because data scientists are the people who can work on this data more related to the machine learning or maybe a statistical data. So that kind of things are more available, is more done by the data scientists. So data engineers make their work easy by doing the data wrangling. And also they can support data analysts by optimizing data models as well. So what are the data models created by data analysts? If there is any requirement uh, for any clarifications or any data like transformation, so that kind of thing can be done by a data engineer as well. And now DBA and BI professional can transition to data engineer role. So database administrator role or the person or the BI professional. BI professional means who works along like for the report creation, dashboard creation. So that people can also become a data engineer. So it depends upon means how they learn and what are the technologies they learn. So they can also become a data engineer. Now the data scientist is important. So this is something which is more advanced topic, which is or the role we can say, where they can perform advanced analytics to extract value from data. Now, when it comes to Power BI, now most of the tools, like whatever the tools which are available for reporting or visualizations, they have many advanced analytics features. So we don't need to write any code to get meaningful insights. Like they internally use their machine learning language or artificial intelligence, and they provide if suppose we are querying any questions to them, the tool automatically gives lot of insights in terms of visualizations. Like here in Power BI is also this is possible in SAP. They in SAP Analytics Cloud tool, there also it is possible. So this is very much important. But data scientists can perform this advanced analytics and can like use that tool's capability. They can work from the descriptive analytics to predictive analytics, as we have seen in previous session, where descriptive analytics is something is providing a course of action for any of the like action we needed. So that kind of a descriptive, and then predictive analytics is something which is what is going to be happening in future. So that is something which is mm, can be done. I mean, descriptive is the first analytics applications from where it can go to the predictive, means what has happened to what is going to happen. So that kind of things can be done by this data analyst. Basically here we can say descriptive analysis is evaluating data through process known as EDA, exploratory data analysis. And predictive analysis is used in machine learning to apply modeling technique that can detect anomalies or patterns. So these are the two terms which we have seen in the last session as well. And data scientists and data analysts can work together as well. So this is important to understand. Now, when we say uh, why these two persons can work together, because data analyst most of the time work in the data model as well. So in data model, there are various transformations needed to perform, and that time as well data scientist or data engineer can help. While in when it comes to creating visualizations or dashboards and using advanced analytics capabilities, at that time also data scientists can help, because to understand the machine learning algorithms or artificial intelligence technology, at that time we can take the help from data scientists. So these are the like collaboration can happen between data scientist and data analyst. Data scientists can look at data to determine questions that needs to answers, and will devise hypothesis or an experiment, then can turn to data analyst to assist with the data visualization and reporting. So this is something which is data scientist and data analyst can work together. Now the last role is a database administrator. So many people or there are in many organizations or any IT company, these are the database administrator, or these are the people who actually manages the database. So when we say manages database, it's not just a single database. They can manage for like SQL Server database, Oracle database. There are MS SQL database. There are different, and for each database there will be DBAs. So that is very much needed, and every organization, if you consider any of the project, then these people are must, because these are the people who can do the administrative task, like you can say implements and manages the operational aspects of the cloud native or and hybrid data platform solutions that are built on Microsoft Azure data services and Microsoft SQL Server. So now when we are working as a, I mean, considering this course as a Microsoft Power BI data analyst, we are considering Microsoft technologies here, like Azure data services, because or a Microsoft SQL Server. But in general as well, there are DBAs who perform work in Oracle database, MySQL. There are other databases which are available, so we can work with them as well. It's not a problem. We can work Microsoft Power BI with other technologies like Oracle. Also, we can connect. Overall availability and consistent performance and optimization of database solutions. So basically, when it comes to availability, so a DBA ensures that the database doesn't go down. Like sometimes what happens due to some unexpected issue in the server, that server goes down, and if the server goes down, no one else can access the data. So it is important to keep the server running, and if it is by any chance, if it goes down or if it is having any issues with the server, it should not, it should be up and running within few minutes. So that should be the responsibility of the database administrator. Or there are other technology, like if there are two servers, we can say primary and secondary. So if primary server gets failed or it gets down, then there is a switch over technology from where like a system changes its to the secondary servers. So it makes sure that none of the system goes unavailable for any of the second. So that is also possible, and this work is done by a DBA. So that is the overall availability of the environment. So this is what DBA do. They can work with the stakeholders to identify and implement the policies, tools, and process of data backup and recovery plan. So as we say, any organization or any business, they do have these policies or tools or process for data backup, because data is very important, and not a single data should be lost, or it should not be like um, we can say stolen, or from the safety perspective as well, it should be correct. So this is something which is they should check, monitor, and manage the overall health of the database. So the database servers should not be very slow. It should not take too much of time to retrieve the data from for the reports or the dashboards. So this is also important. They will regularly check their health of that particular servers, and if there are any issues, they can fix that as well. So this is important for the database administrators. And the last one is they are responsible for managing the overall security of the data, granting and restricting the user access privileges to the data as determined by the needs, business needs and requirements. So as I said, uh, not all people in any organization need all types of access. Some people need full access, some people need just restricted access. So these access related things is also important, and all this be managed by the database administrator. So as the words it says administrator, they will do the all the administrative access related to the databases. So this is what this particular role is perform. So these are the different roles which are available: data engineer, data analyst, data scientist, then we have business analyst and a database administrator. So these are the important. We, as a part of this course, we are focusing on data analyst, and that's what we are aiming. If anyone is having any other interest, like if they feel that they can perform a database administrator work very well, they can learn this like they can go in that particular track as well. So that is also possible. So I think this is all from this topic. If you have any questions, you can ask Sumit.
And for
Your voice is bit breaking. Actually, I'm not able to hear you properly.
I need to know that if someone want to be the data analyst, then what will be the requirement? Like any prior coding requirement, coding knowledge and all.
No, basically, yeah. To become a data analyst, there is no prerequisite needed as such. Anyone can become a data analyst. They just should have the knowledge of the data. Basically, having understanding of the data means basically how the data is getting generated, and if they have some knowledge on the database like SQL queries or database table, that is enough. Means it's not very um, hard to become a data analyst. We don't need any kind of a special coding. So whoever wants to become a data analyst, the main focus is to understand the data and database tables, how the data gets stored, basically having understanding of the primary key, unique key, foreign key of the tables, and then how the insert, update, delete operations can be performed on the table. So that kind of basic understanding of the database is enough. Apart from that, there is some scripting as well. So that scripting is we can learn. It's not that like too much scripting is we needed. If you wanted to go in a very advanced, like creating custom visuals, that time we need some scripting knowledge. So if you have some knowledge on the JavaScript, that will be enough to do that. But without that knowledge as well, we can become a data analyst in Power BI. So this is important to understand. Not much prerequisite, but having a basic understanding of the database is good. And if you have any other understanding like scripting, as I said, JavaScript, then it is also an added advantage, but it is not mandatory. Okay, so I hope this is clear. Okay, I think I cannot hear you properly, but
Are you getting my voice?